If your shifts sound awkward no matter how much you practice them, there's a good chance you're making one very common mistake. And it's probably not what you think. Moving cleanly and musically from one position to the next is one of the most misunderstood aspects of cello technique. Today I want to share a passage from a book that changed how I think about shifting, and talk about the mistake I see most often in students at every level. Pablo Casals once said, "The difficulty of playing the cello is knowing how to get from one note to the next." That's it. Not intonation, not bow technique, getting from one note to the next. Shifting was that important to him. Maurice Eisenberg, a student of Casals, wrote a book called Cello Playing of Today to document Casals' approach to the instrument. On the subject of shifting, Eisenberg wrote that whether a slide is audible or not cannot be governed by any set rule. It comes down to musical taste and instinct, adapted to the needs of each phrase. The key word there is slide. Eisenberg assumed the slide was happening. The only question was how much the listener should hear it. Often a student shifts, and in an attempt to sound clean, they lift their finger off the string entirely. The finger goes up in the air, lands on the new note, and the result sounds clunky and disconnected. The fix is simple. Keep the finger in light contact with the string the whole time. Let it glide. You're not sneaking from one note to the next. You're traveling there. And it's okay for the listener to hear some of that journey. Singers do this naturally. A cello teacher once told me something I've never forgotten. The more you try to clean up the shift, the more awkward it sounds, especially on large intervals, a fifth or more. The listener's ear actually expects to hear some of the slide. When it's not there, something feels missing. There is one exception. When you're shifting during an open string or harmonic, the gliding finger doesn't apply because the finger isn't producing the sound during the transition. This is where kinesthetic awareness comes in, knowing the precise location of the landing note through muscle memory and feel. Rick Mooney's target practice from position pieces is one of the best exercises for developing that skill. As your technique develops, you'll gain more control over how audible a shift is or whether it's completely silent, through bow pressure and the coordination between your hands. But before that, you can make that choice musically. You need to stop fighting the slide altogether. Let it happen. Work with it. That's where musicality comes into play.